Welcome to McHenry, Illinois, a small suburb of Chicago. Founded in 1836, McHenry has a population of about 27,000 people. McHenry Community High School was founded in 1924 and split into two campuses in 1963. Today, East Campus holds around 950 students and West has more than 1,200 students. Although there are many benefits to taking AP classes in high school, students may be negatively affected by the AP classes they enroll in. I'm Megan O'Toole, and I've been in 4 AP classes in my high school career, including 3 right now. And the workload is so much more than a regular class or an honors level class that it just piles on and leads to my stress and anxiety. Within McHenry High Schools, there are many students who have experienced anxious or stressful times. This anxiety affects over 18.1% of the United States population. This includes about 10 to 15 million teenagers. These students feel symptoms like worry, nervousness, fear, shyness, and dread of activities or places. Out of the 2,200 people at McHenry East and West campuses, 37% of students are involved in one or more AP courses. Mrs. Veronica Eggert, McHenry East campus's social worker, sees students on the daily regarding their mental health.
If I knew, I think it would make a little bit easier, it would make the job a little bit easier to help them. I think it can be situational and different for some, but I think that with some of the freshmen and sophomores that we work with, I think it's making the transition to that workload. I often notice that there's a time crunch, where we have lots of strenuous classes, lots of rigorous classes. Maybe they don't have a study hall. Oftentimes we see that they are not taking a lunch, and then if they are involved in any activities or clubs after school, it seems to leave little time for homework. So those are just some of the trends I think that I've been seeing. It's on and off, it's kind of sporadic, but I will say at least once or twice a week.
Anxiety affects 1 in 4 teenagers in the United States, which can lead to other disorders such as depression, eating disorders, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Yes. Well, there's 2 different ways. First, there are some kids in the class that I find out from the social worker or from the counselors that they have diagnosed anxiety and they're seeing someone or they're on medication or something like that, and then I get an action plan for how to work with that person in the class. So that's one way, but then the other way is typically I'm pretty open with the students in my class, so they'll tell me if they are experiencing anxiety or feeling that way, and you can usually work with the student that way. But then it's also sometimes easy to tell, particularly when class discussion comes around, if someone has some problems with anxiety.
Because AP classes are meant to have college-level curriculum, the content is difficult to learn, which causes anxiety levels in students to rise.
In this past year, the last 2 years I would say, I think that we've seen more students who are experiencing some anxiety, and I would say at least half, if not slightly more, probably have 1 or more AP classes or have honors classes and AP classes as a mix.
I think that if a student is predisposed to feel anxiety, taking an AP or an honors level class that is particularly rigorous will enhance that anxiety. So if they don't have the ability, if they haven't worked out ways to deal with their anxiety yet, It's a difficult situation to put them in as a parent, as a teacher, as a school district.
As AP classes are college-level courses, the workload is plentiful, which leads to students feeling anxious. We interviewed an anonymous person who was in 3 AP classes this year. They have been diagnosed with anxiety for 3.5 years.
I think AP class coursework and the load itself of being in an AP class does have a lot to do with my anxiety and fuels it, especially during the school year.
We spoke to Dylan Qualls and Megan Frost about their experience with AP courses.
Homework, friends, school in general, and then that's about it. Maybe? I don't really know. I feel like it's person-to-person basis. Like, it could be school, it could be something that's going on at home. I feel like you can't just boil it down to a certain thing that causes everybody's anxiety.
Yes, I am currently in 3 AP classes. Yes, depending on the day. If we have a lot of projects due, in all 3 classes, I feel completely overwhelmed.
You could be doing this, but you're really doing this. You want to do this, but you have to do this. You should be doing this, but you're stuck with this. Some might argue that the hard work and time spent on AP coursework is outweighed by the credits and opportunities given after the AP exams. However, when asked about the benefits of AP classes, only 31.1% of our 238 student survey said it outweighs the stress of an AP class. It should be acknowledged that schools shouldn't push such rigorous courses onto people who may not be ready. There are many mental effects of such intense schoolwork, especially when one takes a numerous amount. It's time for administration to be informed of the negative impacts of AP students, including anxiety. AP and anxiety, is it too much?